So video 1, how to build a rent-to-rent business in 2025 and in 2026, step-by-step guide. So you don't need to own properties in 2025 to make money from them. And I'm going to show you exactly how to do that. So property prices right now are crazy high and interest rates are almost making buy-to-let absolutely impossible. Most people think it's out of reach. So rent-to-rent is the fastest way to get in without needing 40 to 100,000 pounds ready to get on the buy-to-let market. So I used this exact strategy to quit my engineering job that I'd been in the same factory for 13 years. My mentees are using this exact system and getting their first property in 90 days or less. So there's mainly 4 rent-to-rent models. So first of all, we've got rent-to-rent HMO, houses of multiple occupancy. And what this is you rent a licensed, already got the planning permission. It's a 5, 6 or 7, 8 bed HMO. It might be 4 bed, it might be a 10 bed, but as long as it's got a HMO license, the planning permission is in place. The council have approved it to be a HMO. So you are going to rent the whole property from the landlord. So you essentially just become the one point of contact to the landlord. And then you are going to rent all of the rooms out individually. You bring in the tenants, you manage the tenants. That's it. That's rent-to-rent HMO. Why does it work? It's consistent, stable cash flow. As long as you do heavy referencing, you follow the process with the tenants, you know what you've got coming in every single month in terms of revenue. You know your overheads, your expenses, so you would know the exact profit margin that you can run. Then how many houses do you need to replace your income? So a stable income to replace your stable income. The only downsides of it is it's tenant management. There's no easy business. Everything's challenging, everything's hard. But this is tenant management. That's why it's valuable, because you're taking that headache away from the landlord. Then we've got serviced accommodation, which is essentially Airbnb. So you're going to rent a property from a landlord and then you're going to sublet it legally through company let management contracts and put it on Airbnb, booking.com, channel managers. So it goes kaboom across of all the OTAs meaning online travel agents. And you're going to rent it on a night by night basis. But you're not just the average Joe. You're going to do it professionally. You're going to absolutely optimize everything. So optimize the title, the nightly rate discounts, the weekly discounts, the monthly discounts to incentivize long-term bookings. And if you go to the description of this video, you can download the Airbnb optimization guide so you know exactly how to optimize an Airbnb listing to maximize its profit margins. Because I got students making £5,000 in revenue per Airbnb unit. This strategy is amazing for like huge injection of cash flow. But again, it's heavy management because you're dealing with guests, clients, power teams, quick changeovers. It's so worth it. It cash flows a lot. Then you've got social housing. So you're going to essentially rent a property from a landlord and then you're going to lease it to the social housing provider on a long-term basis. You're going to align the contracts. You just facilitate the deal, the transaction. Right? The social housing provider are specialists at providing care. They're not property sourcing experts like you. Landlords don't know how to get in touch with social housing providers. They wouldn't have a clue where to start or the compliance around it. That's why they need you. They need that perfect middleman in the middle to structure the deal, facilitate it. And the reason why it's so hands-off and passive once it's done is because of the facilitation of the deal that you put together at the front end is the most valuable part. It fixes a huge problem for a landlord. Give a massive solution to the provider because you're giving them a property so they can care for more people. So once you've structured the deal, the landlord has given the property to the provider, contracts are in place, boom, it's hands-off. Your margin just sat there in the middle somewhere. So Dan and James, I went to visit them last week. They've just finished securing a deal exactly like this, and it's going to profit them £900 a month. And then the fourth strategy, you've got deal sourcing, and this is where you're just going to go out into the market, view properties, stack the deals, do the due diligence, and then package it all up and then sell it to an investor who wants to scale. This is where you learn sales, packaging, and putting together something very presentable so investors are really sold on you. And for every deal you sell, £3,000. I literally sold a deal 2 months ago. This works best when you've built trust in a network. You've got an investor list because essentially you want investors ready, waiting. You don't want to go and view a property and then it's been accepted, the offer's accepted, the landlord's waiting for you and you haven't got an investor on board. It pays to have a network and then solid training. I deem deal sourcing like the ultimate strategy. When everything's in place, you're the expert. The investors know you're the expert. So when you find a deal, it's bam. The investors are racing to buy it off you. That's deal sourcing. You make an investor happy. You might even be getting people on the rent-to-rent ladder because you sourced them that deal. And the landlord's really pleased because you moved fast. It happened fast. That's why it's worth £3,000 a deal. The pros to that is it's fast pound. It's fast cash flow. £3,000 bang in your bank account. You don't have any responsibilities after that deal is done and dusted. No tenant management, no guest communication, nothing. Just on to the next deal. So here's the starter kit that you need for rent-to-rent. You need a limited company for credibility. You're going to need insurance, and that's public liability and public indemnity. You're going to need all the contracts in place and the scripts, so you're talking to agents. I mean, you can find exactly what I say to agents on my YouTube, but you need to have the confidence to do so and handle their objections, and that only comes through practice as well. You need a calculator as well. You need to know how to use that calculator to do solid due diligence, so the information you're putting in the calculator gives you a profit margin at the end, and you feel confident giving these landlords this offer, which is going to give you a 3, sometimes a year, but 3 to 5 year on average deal. How confident are you going to feel with your own due diligence, putting those figures in the calculator, passing that offer to the landlord or agent to sign a contract? Those profit margins have to be solid and conservative. And then you need PRS, ICO, typical compliance around property. And that's it. You don't need to own property. You don't need mortgages. You don't need solicitors. You don't need accountants until you're really trading. Yeah, simple. You can get up to speed in about 2 days. So when I started, it took me 80 days to get my first deal. And that was after 244 phone calls, 24 viewings, and 23 offers later, I got my very first deal. But my first deal was actually 3 HMOs. And here's the best part, right? So those 3 HMOs were, I was due to collect the keys on the date, the exact date of our firstborn, the due date. How stressed was I in that moment? Very. But that deal and the 2 extra HMOs that come with it gave me a £2,500 a month cash flow. And I was earning 2,700 take home from my job. Boom. Within 80 days, I'd pretty much replaced my income. That gave me the confidence to drop down to part-time. My mentees now do exactly the same, and they secure their first deal within 90 days because they've got the system from day one. So if you want the rent-to-rent setup checklist and the Airbnb optimization guide, go to the description of this video and grab it. Totally free. And in the next video, I'll show you exactly where rent-to-rent deals can be found and how to build your lead pipeline.